r/AskReddit. What do you have in your possession that a collector would die to get their hands on? A rare picture of Sean Connery signed by Roger Moore. Moore was giving a talk at my university in 2004, and I printed out the picture. He was amused when I explained the Simpsons bit and agreed to sign it for me. Very brilliant. A drawing of Peter Pan signed by Mary Martin that says to Mary Martin, "My great-grandmother, from Peter Pan." Wait, is your grandmother the Mary Martin or just also named Mary Martin? She just had the same name. I have a Monopoly get out of jail free card, signed by Captain Kangaroo. Police sergeant, detective. He had a get out of jail free card. Detective, not good enough. This guy is wanted for aggravated homicide in 4 states. Police sergeant, sir. It's signed by Captain Kangaroo. Detective, good damn it. This sounds like a scene from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't know about die to get their hands on, but I have a very clean copy of the first printing of Rage by Richard Bachman, Stephen King's pseudonym. About 15 years ago, I was at a half-price books bookstore, checking out the circular wire clearance rack, when I saw a very familiar book cover. I'm a big King fan, and I had seen pictures of the book, but never one in person. It had a $1.00 clearance sticker on the cover. I checked it multiple times, and it was definitely a first printing. King's early Bachman books were originally printed in pocket paperbacks and later collected in the compilation The Bachman Books. I was really excited at what I had, so I found my wife and told her we needed to check out. I put a $5 bill in my hand and went to check out separately from her. I had it in my mind that they were going to see the book for what it was, tell me it was mismarked, and not let me buy it. My plan, which was probably pretty stupid, was that if that happened, I'd throw the $5 on the counter and run out the door with the book. After all, that's 5 times what it was marked. When I checked out, the guy looked at the book a couple of times, looked at the price tag, and then he looked at me. He said something along the lines of, "Do you know what this is?" I said I did. He said something like, "Someone is in trouble," and then rang it up for $1 in tax and took my cash. Because the story of Rage is about a school shooting, and a copy was found in a school shooter's locker years ago, King has vowed to never have it reprinted. Man at the checkout was a real G that day. I have an English textbook from early colonial America. I've never gotten it appraised. I'll probably donate it to a museum someday. Does the cover say glyph? Lol. I wish. I think it's called Common Spellings. It's an illustrated dictionary. I remember trying to read it when I was a kid, and I didn't recognize half the words. One of the first words listed was anvil, and I was like, what the heck is an anvil? The picture didn't help at all. My mom had to explain it to me. It's called Common Spellings. It's an illustrated dictionary. This is great. My mom says that they were common words back then. So I told her that no one cares about a janky paper sandwich, and we should just eat it out a window. Apostrophe. WWII era US paper currency with Hawaii imprinted across the bills. Hey, I have that too. Got it as change at the grocery store in like 2003 or so. I probably shouldn't, but I keep it in my wallet, so it's pretty folded up. It's really cool. I collect old American coins and paper currency. Yeah, that's not a good idea lol. But it's yours, so you do what you want with it. Nice find. 1916 lugger my grandfather brought back from WW2. Has most if not all original parts. Don't think it's actually worth much, but still collectible. My grandma had one that my grandfather brought back from his fight in Europe. She sold it in 1992. I was 11. For $1K. I remember not knowing anything about guns, the value of guns or even how my grandfather managed to get it. I was really sad because I just learned a lot about WWII and I at least knew he went through hell for it. Now it's gone and she drank the money away. What a waste. I would have had that thing framed in a shadow box. About another year after she sold it, we were going through their stuff and found the box he had kept the lugger in. It had a false bottom where he had stashed a swastika armband and a bunch of tiny photos from a concentration camp he had helped liberate apparently. That made it even more sad. As I've gotten older I realize this is all just stuff that impacted people at a moment in time. Faded memories gone. And they mean nothing unless they are kept alive. My mind took a bad turn when you said you found the swastika. I have a 10-pound meteorite in the trunk of my car. Are you sure you're not driving around with a 10-pound block of frozen airplane poop? Now that you mention it, it does have an unusual amount of space peanuts. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. My grandpa has an authentic Stradivarius violin. Family legend, I've only seen pictures, so according to my grandpa it's been passed down in our family since the 1700s. Refuses to sell or pass it down to any of my uncles because they have suggested selling. That absolutely needs to be appraised. Not only is it valuable, but at a very price point it should go on the homeowner's insurance. I broke a violin bow that was 150 years old and insurance said that it could have been replaced it. I had put it in insurance. It would have been paid for, not replaced. As an insurance adjuster, thank you. 58 feet Lepore. This is deep in the thread because most people have no idea what this is. Or if they do, they don't know why. 58 matters. The Lepore is an electric guitar. It uses a different kind of pickup called a humbucker, which is what translates string vibration into current for the electric sound. Humbuckers are two coils, which make a rich warm sound that isn't as heavy or versatile as a single coil, like a Stratocaster. Hendrix famously played one. They are ubiquitous now, but in 1958-60 they didn't sell well, so Gibson ceased production. Only later would the sound become recognized as the signature sound of 60s rock and roll. Lepore would become an era-defining luthier, and the 58-60 Lepores were his magnum opus. This is a holy grail of electric guitars. There were only 256 made. It was worth $50,000 at auction in 2016. $50K seems like a steal. Yeah, I doubt that price would hold at auction today. Probably six figures in 2020. But I don't really know, I just did a quick Google search while I was writing this post. First appearance of Captain Marvel autographed by Stan Lee. Like the male original version of Captain Marvel that DC sued them for because he was too similar to Superman? Yes, not Shazam, but the original male version in the Marvel universe. A Blues Brothers album signed by the entire cast, on top of the obvious awesomeness like John Belushi, Carrie Fisher, James Brown and Aretha Franklin. Even people that made short cameos signed it like Pee Wee Herman and Steven Spielberg. Even aside from all the signatures, that is a fantastic album. I know the Blues Brothers was always an act, but Belushi's version of She Caught the Catty is flat out better than Taj Mahal's. It's also got two of the best versions of Think and Minnie the Moocher by the original artists on it. A 1925 Steinway Model B, 7 foot, in pristine condition. It has a deep, rich bass and slivery, expressive trebles, the entire keyboard perfectly balanced from top to bottom. Holy shit, I'm jealous. Any ballpark of how much it's worth? A 1925 Steinway Model B, 7 foot, looks like a modern one is worth about $100K. I'll start digging in the couch cushions. For a piano? A 90 million year old chunk of Burmese amber with a water beetle and a gnat/mosquito type insect in it. Not planning on opening any theme parks. Are you? D. I wonder how much expense would be spared. Only hire one computer guy though. Dodson. #WE_VE got Dodson here. See. Nobody cares. Probably not super rare or expensive. Just cool. Late 1800s illustrated copy of Jules Verne's Mysterious Island. In English. Not in the original language. By far my favorite piece of literature. That's amazing. A 1/1 Picasso piece. It's a relic card. But it's a one-off genuine Picasso. I keep it on my mantle. Share a pic of it and your address. Also, was it your mother's? What was her name back then? Before she got married, /s. It would probably take a very specific collector. But I have a chewing tobacco can signed by Willie Nelson from when my grandma dated him back in the 50s. I also have one of the first ping putters from back when they only made putters. Given to me when my grandpa died. I'm pretty sure my grandma would kill to have that tobacco can. She's a big fan. She went to a show a few years back and was in the first row. During one of his songs he held out his hand to her and she climbed up on stage to dance with him. I'm sure there's video of it somewhere. She's hugging him from behind for about half a minute before security comes to escort her off stage. It made her night. Lol. So if she'd kill for it, it's probably worth up to like $50k depending on who you want killed. Not bad. I like to think someone thinks my hockey stick signed by Hall of Famers Bobby Orr and Ray Bork is cool. Oren Bork. Bud. I have samurai sword signed by Randy Jackson. I bumped into him and all I had on me was this samurai sword. And you're not gonna not get Randy Jackson's autograph. Right? I would've done the same thing. An old coin from the Roman Empire. I have no idea how I got it. One day I found it in a pocket of my pajamas and that was that. Most Redditors will think I'm lying. But here, an unopened Barbie doll from 1960. I know this is lame compared to some of the answers here but okay. I have an unopened Furby packed away. Burn the Furby. My parents actually burned my Furby. I feel like burning will only feed the demon. I have a newspaper from when Germany surrendered in WWI. I've always thought newspapers were cool. My dad has had one from Lincoln's assassination passed down. Oh damn, that's cool as hell. I'd love to find something like that. When flags on military ships get tattered, they are supposed to be disposed of properly and replaced with a flag in good condition. I have the worn Union Jack from the submarine I served on in the 1970s. It's a blue flag with white stars mounted on the bow. First edition of Hunter S. Thompson's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Signed and sprinkled with wild turkey out of his glass. In my presence. Athens. Gap. Round about 1981. I have a very unique lily of the valley. The bell of the flower is in a triple layer formation. My grandfather developed this strain and it is nowhere else except in my garden. Photo. I collect coins. The rarest coin I have is a 2004 US Wisconsin state quarter with the die error. High leaf. The value fluctuates, but it is worth a bit. And only about 8,000 were struck before the error was caught, and the remaining coins were pulled out of circulation. That's definitely the nerdiest coin collecting fact I have ever heard. You've reached the end. You're a star. Destroy the subscribe button for more like that.